Aloha, good morning from Cocoa Beach, Florida. Not sure what's going to happen today with a broadcast. I'm supposed to be interviewed on a radio show here at any minute, so they'll be calling me. When they do, it'll be a quick interruption. So I may come back and do the regular show after that. It's only a brief interview, probably only 10 minutes or so. But I thought it kind of fun thing to do because I might get cut away and have to go to that other radio interview. I thought I would show you guys this, the Didache. It's it was used in the first century, like in the first 50, 60, 70 AD. This is like the original catechism. This is the book. This is the book we're reading from, and this was the book that was used for the catechumens. Those it was like kind of more like lecture notes than a book, and it was missing for a long time. We knew it existed, but it was discovered around 1875. A monk was going through some old manuscripts in Constantinople, and lo and behold, found a copy of the Didache. And so we have it again. It was just rediscovered in the last 120 years. But it's a beautiful book, and it was what was taught. Now, so a catechumen is someone who wants to become baptized, and they normally went through a 2-year process of learning church doctrine, morality, and how to worship. And this is really like the book of the two ways. And so I thought I'd read a little bit. I'm going to be interrupted any minute for a radio interview with Gary Zimak, someone who, by the way, I'm having on my radio show 6 o'clock on Saturday for a whole hour. He's just going to interrupt me for about 15 minutes. So I'll come back after that and do our regular show. But for those of you who are used to joining us right about the sunrise time, I thought I'd read from the Didache. I'm trying to get this lighting right so you can see the sun better. It's always kind of tricky because it changes moment by moment. Okay, this is chapter 1 of the Didache. See, it's just a skinny little book. And so you did 2 years of catechumen, and then so I'm a catechist. I'm actually certified catechist, Catholic teacher. Catechumen is someone who wants to be baptized, and what we study is the catechism. So this is it. Chapter 1, there are 2 paths, one of life and one of death. And the difference is great between the 2 paths. Hey, good morning, Ted. Hey, John. Yeah, I'm going to be having to break away real quickly all of a sudden to do a radio interview, but I'm reading from the Didache this morning, and then I'll come back and do my regular show. Now, the path of life is this. First, thou shalt love the God who made thee, thy neighbor as thyself, and all things that thou wouldst not should be done unto thee, do not do unto another. And the doctrine of these maxims is as follows. Bless them that curse you, and pray for your enemies. Fast on behalf of those that persecute you. For what thank is there if you love them that love you? Do not even the Gentiles do the same? But do you love them that hate you? You will not have an enemy. So this was a catechism written not for the Hebrews, not for the Jewish people so much, but for the Gentiles that were coming to Christianity. So they kind of had to build a bridge a little bit into Judaism too for them. Abstain from fleshly and worldly lusts. If anyone give thee a blow on thy right cheek, turn unto him the other also. And thou shalt be perfect. If anyone compel thee to go a mile, go with them too. If a man take away thy cloak, give him thy coat also. If a man take from thee what is thine, ask not for it again, for neither art thou able to do so. So we're reading from the Didache, and you can see a lot of the Didache is just basically, repeating or paraphrasing as best they could the words of Jesus. Give to everyone that asketh thee, and ask not again, for the Father wishes that from his own gifts there should be given to all. Blessed is he who giveth according to the commandment, for he is free from guilt. But woe unto him that receiveth. For if a man receive being in need, he shall be free from guilt. For if a man receive being in need, he shall be free from guilt. But he who receives when not in need shall pay a penalty as to why he received and for what purpose. And when he is in tribulation, he shall be examined concerning the things that he has done, and shall not depart thence until he has paid the last farthing. For of a truth it has been said on these matters, let thy almsgiving abide in thy hands, until thou knowest to whom thou hast given. So we're reading from the Didache. This was the original catechism. And the reason I'm doing this today is because any minute I'm going to be called, someone's going to call me. I need to break away from here in a few moments because I'm going to be interviewed on a radio show. But this is the catechism we're reading from now, and this was the original kind of like lecture notes for the catechism in the year around 50 AD or so. For those who wanted to become Christians, this is what they taught them. It's called the Apostles' Teachings, the Didache of the Apostles. But the second commandment of the teaching is this: thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not corrupt the youth, thou shalt not commit fornication, thou shalt not steal. The words "thou shalt not corrupt youth" is basically pedophilia. It was not uncommon in the Roman times for a Roman leaders to have young boys in their homes. It's very disgusting practice. So the Christian church is teaching: thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not corrupt youth, thou shalt not commit fornication, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not use soothsaying. In other words, psychics, sorcery, or horoscopes. Thou shalt not practice sorcery. Thou shalt not kill a child by abortion. This is around 50, 60 AD. The Catholic Church Christians right away stood against abortion. Neither shalt thou slay it when born. Thou shalt not covet the goods of thy neighbor. Thou shalt not commit perjury. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Thou shalt not speak evil. Thou shalt not bear malice. Thou shalt not be double-minded or double-tongued, for to be double-tongued is the snare of death. Thy speech shall not be false or empty, but be concerned with action. So the first chapter kind of had to do with love. This really has to do with morality. And later on, as you go through the Didache, it gets into the early practices of the church, including the celebration of the Eucharist. So I have to break at any moment for my live interview with Gary Zemak. So I'm going to read one more thing here. Thou shalt not be covetous, or rapacious, or hypocritical, or malicious, or proud. Thou shalt not take up an evil design against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not hate any man, but some thou shalt confute concerning some thou shalt pray, and I can't turn the page. It's an ancient manuscript. And thou shalt love beyond thy own soul. So we have to call it short this morning. Tomorrow we'll be back and we'll be reading from the Catechism. I just was reading you excerpts from the Didache, the original Catholic Catechism that was taught to the catechumens for 2 years before they received baptism, and they were taught by a catechist, which is what I am. I'm a certified Catholic catechist. Okay, love you guys. Till tomorrow, Viva Cristo Rey. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Aloha.